Recording in progress.
All right, good morning, everyone. Let's call court to order. Today is Thursday, July 30th, 2026. It's 9 a.m. Proof of posting, please.
The agenda was posted on Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026 at 9:45 a.m.
All right, thank you. And then, of course, we're posted to go into tomorrow as well if we need to. At this time, let's stand briefly for a moment of silence, and then we'll have a place to pray. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pledge the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee.
Texas, one state, under God,
one and indivisible. All right, this time for anyone from the public who wants to speak to the court on business matters, please do so at this time. Evidently, he's asleep.
You need to talk to him.
He only has a few more months he can get away with that.
That's right. People are watching. All right, thank you. We have none, so under D, I don't think we have anything before that. Okay, so under D1, under D is regarding the FY27 budget. So Francis?
Thank you. So where we left off yesterday, we were playing around with scenarios. I know there were some changes to the budget, talked about yesterday too, that we still didn't have full information on quite yet. But we added in some estimates for those items so that we could at least see what that looked like for the bottom line. And so again, this is a collapsed version instead of looking at our other spreadsheet, but this is what the scenario looks like right now based on what we have consensus on. It has that 6 cents plugged in. We can adjust that to anything that you all want to look at. It was just what we had plugged in when we left. We did receive final certified values last night. And I know there was a little bit of a change in I say certified rates. We got the certified rate calculations last night, and there was a slight drop in the taxable values as well, just since
Again?
yesterday. Yes, so I updated that. So that's where we are right now, and those rates have been certified by the tax assessor collector. So that is all embedded in there right now.
So once they certify, then there's not going to be any changes, correct?
So, they'll through the year, they'll continue to make adjustments sometimes to, properties on the tax roll. That just is something that happens. Sometimes things are still in protest, but usually it's pretty minimal. So,
Yeah.
Probably still having hearings, I would assume.
Yeah, they are. I think the hearings go till.
They're making the adjustments down, we need to take it out of their budget.
And so, yesterday, just trying to refresh our memory. Oh, sorry, did I?
No, we're just having sidebar, just don't.
Sorry.
And I know Commissioner Perry, just to fill you, you may have already known, but we talked with the sheriff's office yesterday, and so through some discussion, I think the consensus was, let's look at employees that are maxed out on the step pay plan, and what do we do there? So there were some options. Discussion that still needs to happen there, just to make sure we're all in sync. I had plugged in an amount for just adding steps on. There was something like you could add the COLA onto those, but I think, I picked the one there in the middle, so that was adding steps on. So that gives us a good estimate. And I think we had an update on that overnight too that we can adjust, but that at least has something in the budget so that you can see what that that bottom line will look like with that.
Is that already in here now?
And so that adding the step is 195,728,
So that is,
or is that like net of all the different kind of horse trading we did yesterday?
so that is, that we had plugged in yesterday was the cost of the estimated number of employees that were maxed out with benefits and taxes. Nothing netted, that was just the amount that would need to be added into the budget. Because we have to spread that eventually into the proposed budget.
Based on adding a step?
Based on adding, yeah.
Correct.
And what did the step average amount? What was the average amount of step increase?
I will need Anna to speak on the plan.
Yeah, I mean, as long
I
as we're
can
on the
calculate it,
subject, because we need to decide.
But I know there was some discussion about the number of employees that are at that maxed amount. And so I think there was some clarification on that. And Anna, I don't know if you want to share those updated figures, or I can.
Is it what you proposed early or show? 2 steps, 2 additional steps?
Yeah.
Remember?
I can speak to it, I'm sorry, it's just my
Come on up here.
screen is.
Did
Do
it?
you want to see me fix it?
Sure.
The IT director's laughing, it must be.
Oh, it did, okay. I'm sorry.
Looks like some of y'all didn't get no sleep last night. Must have gave you too much to do.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, Mr. Perry, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong. So they came in wanting to add 2% on top of the step. They initially wanted a full COLA, then they wanted 2. And then, we had a discussion about that. And then the other piece is that there's debatable, somewhere between, I'm gonna say 65, 75 people that already maxed out. And so then the discussion in the court was, well, you know, they need to have either another step or give them a COLA of what we give all the other employees, right?
Yeah, and kind of the consensus was if they gave them a COLA of the, like the other employees, it would get the step plan out of whack.
But it's already, I mean, isn't it already out of whack if they don't,
Yeah.
if there's no more steps? I mean,
Yeah,
how
right.
does it get out of whack if there's no more steps? If all
Well,
we're giving is.
I guess what the question is, yeah, when do you quit adding steps?
Well, so, to address what you
25, 30
said,
years.
so, also the step can put it out of whack too if it puts, that employee's pay range way above
Cool.
what's out there in the market and everything else, our market-based
Right.
decisions were made. So either way, I would say puts it out of,
I'd say, yeah,
I'll stop sharing.
but as long as putting another step doesn't move them way out where they're maybe more expensive, you know.
But then
I'm
next
curious.
year could another step,
if.
Yeah.
another step,
Well, you're dropping off the bottom though, I think.
maybe.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess our question, or the comment I'd make, if the average step was like 4.5, but we talked about COLA at 3.71, then I'd be more inclined to support the 3.71, which is in line with the rest of our employees in the county, as opposed to just increasing the step, and let's say its average is 4.5 or 5.
So instead of adding a step, kind of, one of the options would be just take those, isolate those, and put whatever the COLA is for the rest of the employees.
I thought that was one of the discussions yesterday.
It was, you're correct.
You had a question about an average step increase for those that were maxed out, right? Okay, so answering that question real quick, that would be 3.39.
Okay, so it's less than the COLA.
3.39%. But just to address what Francis was saying, so we updated the numbers. The sheriff's office numbers were actually more accurate. The number was 80 folks that are maxed out. And we were doing current and not accounting for those who have yet to maxed out
This year?
through the remainder of the current fiscal year, yes.
Well, now we're dealing with 80.
So now 80, and so that does update the estimate, and this is just salary cost. It would not include all the benefits. Either, but I'm trying to fix my screen so that it's bigger. But at least it's not sideways anymore. Okay. Is that me? John,
John?
John,
is that me?
That used to be the TV at about 11:30 or 12, wasn't it?
Sometimes the drivers don't adapt properly. Let's try it again.
You hear the national anthem.
Yeah.
That's it. Time to go to sleep.
Is it?
There we go.
Thank you. My computer didn't know it had to work today. So there were 3 scenarios that the court discussed yesterday. So one was the adding the additional step, which what the sheriff's office mentioned is another option. And so this is adding an additional step just based off of what the existing increase rates are per rank. So that amount would be $235,151 for all those folks maxed out to achieve an additional step, salary only. And then there was an option of applying this 2% pay for only those maxed out. This would be this $135,000 option, or applying the COLA to those folks that are maxed out, and that's $250,000.
Well, that's 80 personnel all the way across 3 scenarios.
Yes, sir.
And the 80 includes those who are currently maxed out and those who will max out by the end of this fiscal year.
Yes, as of 9/30/2026, they've maxed out.
Okay. But, I mean, there's the 3 choices. Pretty,
Well, I don't, this step to me is just gonna keep messing us up, because we have to add a step every year. If you put in there that if you're maxed out, you're gonna get the COLA we give, and then we'll be done with it. I mean, it could be, you know, if there's 80 or 85, or maybe this year might be retirements, there might be 70. You know, I don't know how that would fluctuate, right? It could be a flow, ebb and flow.
And it's not, the intent isn't for a step to be added every year. Again, that is
Yeah.
based on percentage of folks who are maxed out, has that increased by quite a lot? And so there are factors that you would want to consider prior to. And then also what the additional step would do to the comp ratio
yeah, that's what I was getting
as
at.
well. So there, I wouldn't say it's some sort of automatic thing that has to happen. I think it's a review option
Yeah, that's right.
every year.
Every year you look at it. Just like we do everybody else.
Yes. I will say, like, adding this additional step, it is the resulting steps, end up being very comparable to what exists now amongst other agencies. For example, the city of Waco, their peace officer, base officer steps go to 14. And so this additional step here, I think, would bring it to 11 steps for deputies, for base deputies. So it, you know, it is in line with market.
And there's not any, you know, their request was, take all the steps across and add 2% to it. And so that's not figured in here. That cost was slightly under $600,000,
I think Francis has that
578
number.
or 98 or whatever.
That was about 725,000 with
Oh,
taxes and
with
benefits.
fringes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And if,
This amount is without fringe, right?
Yes, sir.
And I
Sorry,
can,
I only just got those numbers to Frances, so she hadn't had a chance.
20%, you multiply any of those numbers times 1.20,
22%,
1.22.
yes. So just tell me if you want, and I can do that
Do
real
that.
quick.
I mean, we
I
need to
can do
know
it
the real
too. I'm
numbers.
sorry, Frances. I can do math.
Okay, there's the numbers.
There they are.
Yeah.
Ricky Poison.
I mean, I see where that's coming from. That's just helping the folks that didn't get anything this year. I understand that, and that's what we need to do too, but we're still gonna have our step program is gonna be behind like it is now, and then next year it's even gonna be behind worse, if I read that properly.
That wouldn't be the case with the adding one step.
Yeah.
So adding one,
Time if you add one.
Yeah, but at the bottom end numbers, what are we off on the bottom end, on our big chart? That's the,
Well, look, those people keep adding a step.
Yeah, they keep going up.
They'll keep adding a step.
yeah,
each year.
they would bump up next year as well, according to the step schedule.
I'd say, just thought, is study that closely again this next year, the step plan, and let's see if that's where we,
Well,
Continue to
yeah,
go.
yeah, and do it early. Do
amen.
it early, even, bring it up in, the fall retreat and then
Yeah.
set the spring retreat and concentrate on it. Have all those involved, SO and the court members and everybody. It posted meeting probably to be able to get everybody in there and kind of look at it. You know,
Judge, I think what we're looking at is three choices. In my mind, or I guess four would be nothing, but that's not a choice in my mind, doing nothing.
yeah, me,
So-
yeah. So the choice would be the, well, so.
What is more in line with the current step plan? Like,
be the
Step.
3.39 is the average percent per step.
adding a step.
It's
That's what
more
I
line.
thought. that-
That's consistent.
Right. So that's where I'm at. And I know it's a little more, but
You talking about the
if the
371?
if the city of Waco has 14 years
Their
of step.
base, yes.
Yeah, they have 14 possible. I mean, I think there's a reason why that chart has all those.
It would be the one that fits the design of the plan.
So what are you saying you're okay with?
Add one step.
That would be a consistent way to look at it, and you're treating that group like all the ones.
Everybody else?
Yeah, everybody else in there.
I agree with the commissioner.
I mean, to me, that makes sense. But there again, that just tees you up for a strong discussion about really looking at the step plan, how it's been working, you got enough years in it to look how it's worked, has it been effective in keeping motivated staff and qualified, trained, motivated staff? That's what all your goals ought to be.
And about the review of the plan only has seen one full year
Right.
of existence. And
Right.
so, I think really to assess the plan more fully, you'd need at least 3 years of data behind it and metrics to get a good assessment of the success of the plan.
Okay. So, there's a consistent, what do you call it?
Consensus?
I will say adding a step, I will be okay with that this year, but we need to.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I'm part of the court next year. I hate to pass it on to the next court, but next court, the entry level is what I'm looking at, just getting the entry level up to match market.
Yeah,
So,
good, okay. Okay, what's next?
thank you, Anna, for the hard work.
Yeah,
Y'all are welcome. Yes.
So consensus there on adding that step. And so yesterday, just because the number of positions had been altered, and we'll update with that additional amount. Okay, so we had that. I know, there was, Judge, you had mentioned some positions that had not been filled or posted.
Yes.
In a year. So there was that we were, going to get some more information on. And I believe there were two with the county clerk's office that he agreed.
yes,
That was, and, he was kind of waiting to see how, let me read the text. He was waiting to see how the Tyler transition
Yeah.
went, if you would need it.
Yeah.
But he has,
yeah, I
talked to his
understand,
staff
and
and feels they're in a good place.
I really appreciate, them weighing in on that, and, there's a justification for adding those, but, they're willing to step out there and work through the Tyler transition and all those things without those two, and see how it goes, and then that way by budget next year, they'll have an idea if their staffing is matched up properly. But I want to say, really appreciate Andy and his staff for stepping up and doing that and being good partners as we know they are.
Judge, how many positions did you have listed? I'm trying to remember. Was it eight,
I had
seven?
5.
5, it was 5 total?
Yeah.
And so I think we talked about freezing those positions possibly.
Well, is there any feedback on any
I
of
don't
those?
yet. I think we need to do, there's some more information gathering
Yeah.
that probably needs to happen, and so we can do that. Because of course, we're just trying to get to the proposed budget, and so we can continue to trim if needed.
Well, right now, what's proposed does not have them in there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're active positions as of this point in
They
time.
are active, so the salary is figured in there.
Yes, yes. But those two for the county clerk, just a estimate, because it's not just the salary and those taxes, but it's also health insurance.
Yeah.
That's a big amount too. So I'm coming to a little over 122,000.
Yeah.
For two of those, and we'll solidify those amounts a little more, but just to give us something to work with today.
I'm trying to remember what the other 3 were then, Judge, but,
All right, one was 54th District Court.
and I thought you said they were happy with the way things were right now.
Well, they were gonna confirm, but, or Dustin, do you have anything to speak for the 54th, 74th?
No, nothing new on those yet, Judge. We need some further communication.
Okay, so I wonder if it's possible to get that answer here before too long.
We will try.
Okay, thank you. And then the other one was the clerk at the sheriff's office.
There was a clerk at the sheriff's office and then 74th
I
District.
thought I think we,
Clerk,
Yeah, I
I
said
think,
54,
I think
74.
clerk, sheriff's office, we've already axed, haven't we?
yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so on the, so
Okay, I'm getting the clerk at the sheriff's office, that was gonna be the PIO, is that correct?
Yeah.
it's
We
just
said
in there.
We,
I've not discussed that with the sheriff's office as to what their intent is, if PIO is not possible.
Well, I mean, the final decision's right here.
yeah, exactly. And I think.
We decided
And so
that's
that's
not-
been open for over a year, you say?
Since December of 2025. So 6, 7 months.
Judge, I'm sorry to interrupt. David just sent a message through the chat asking if they could speak on that spot.
Yes,
Yes, Commissioners, so that position was vacated back in, I believe, late 2025, and we've been consistently working with HR with the intent of trying to have that position converted to a PIO. We haven't left it open. We've had people working extra so that we could try to get this conversion for FY '27. We could fill that position and would like to literally within the next week. But the only reason we've left it open is for trying to decide and determine like what that salary would be with HR, what those duties were going to be, what that looked like with the Uvalde X Strong Act, how that would function within the department. So there was just that discussion going on. It wasn't because there is not work to do. Someone is doing double work.
So I've got the salary at 43, 220. Is that,
That's what I have.
That's correct.
that's what we have down? I don't know if that was in line with what
It-
y'all were thinking, David.
And that doesn't give us the conversion, Judge, but if y'all leave us with that position, we'll hire someone into that position and just make them do the duties, and we'll deal with it.
The reclassification request was to bump that to 65,000.
But it was an open position.
Right.
David, I'm sure you've been listening, we just added $286,000 to the budget for salaries.
And that's
I'd like for y'all to consider leaving that position, letting us remove that. We're trying to save some money somewhere.
Can you put a dollar mark on that?
I mean, that's just bottom line. We keep adding and adding, and we're not taking anything away.
We'll do good next year, or is that feasible?
let me see your response.
Commissioner, could I
Yes.
could I make a counter, or can I make a concession, right? That I will find, 53,000 plus whatever the fringe is, or 43,000 plus the fringe somewhere else, and cut it in perpetuity.
But that's just it, David. You can't promise that next year that won't be back in there somewhere. When we talk about salaries, we talk about perpetuity. When we hire someone, that's not a one-time gift. That's something that's going to keep giving and giving and giving and giving to the county. And to say that you can find that every year, I haven't seen that happen anywhere else that we've done that. I'm just being honest. We just spent a long time yesterday getting to where we were this morning, wanting to take care of those 80 people, and rightfully so. They deserve it. But at some point, there's got to be a pushback, a give back, and I'm sorry, I haven't seen it.
So, Commissioner, I can tell you that I can hold myself accountable, and the court and the auditor can as well on that. So, I mean, I can find the money. It would be from multiple departments, of course, but I can find that money, and, we can make that deal with the auditor, and they can be the check and balance that makes sure that we don't come back without a reason to say, like, we're adding stuff back in.
We could take it out of what we just approved.
Well, David, you've cut, and we keep cutting. So that means we're gonna push it down the road the next year after that.
David, what was the cuts that you went through and found for us yesterday? Was it $40,000 total? Or somewhat?
No, sir. Are you talking about like including the capital?
No, I'm talking about in all your different departments. You added up a number yesterday that we saw. You remember what it was?
I don't have it right here off the top of my head. No, sir.
85,000 is what we brought.
Auditor's got it. It was how much?
It's about 85,000. Those
85,000.
were operating lines, like you said, not including the capital.
Honestly, yesterday afternoon, I threw out that the only way we're gonna, I think it's truly the way we can freeze hiring is take all those open positions and delete them. And that's one way to keep from this every year. Every year that position's gonna get a COLA and health insurance and Social Security and all the fringes. every year.
Well,
There could be plenty of folks in the next year or so could be working, doing 2 job duties almost, if we have to keep doing what we're doing, you know, which that's the way it happens in the world.
I mean, very much in the private sector,
Sure.
small business.
well, there's no doubt about it that the majority of our budget is salaries, and that's not unusual. That's in the business world, that's in any world there is. And so if you're gonna make any substantial savings, it has to be in that area. Unless you wanna cut electricity and everybody work in the dark. I mean, that's really it.
So do y'all want to hear, Major Ives, what his cuts would be to offset that, or y'all want to make a decision now to not fill the spot?
Well, my choice would be all of those positions that you mentioned, Judge, gone. But that's just me. I mean, I'm one
What's
person.
up, other thoughts? That's where you are.
That's, I was at more than those. I was at all the open positions.
Dan?
Just to put a little.
And I would just say, I mean.
Hang on just a minute, let Francis
Oh, I'm
make.
sorry. I was just, those 5 positions with taxes and benefits, health insurance, all of that, it comes to a little, right over 341,000.
241, then, go ahead.
So basically, we've covered the, step
240,
increase with a little extra.
341? 341, right?
Yeah,
Grant 3.
yeah, well, Commissioner Jones had a question, or,
I go back to the fact that we're in compliance at the jail. We're, we are, you know, fixing the roads the best that we can. With very limited staff and budgets. And we're, you know, the main interface that we have with the public, down here anyway, being the tax office, you know, there's, you know, people are getting served over there, you know, there's not super long lines or anything like that. So, anywhere to get served.
yeah.
I mean,
Major Ives, you got one more shot and tell us how important that position is, why it needs to be filled, and then we'll let the court make a decision.
Sure, and that position, what we're trying to do with it is not just like going on camera. It is preparing all of the posts that we make, interacting with all of our public, setting up all of our public events, preparing all the written statements for consistency. And once again, if we leave it at a base clerk, we'll get what we can get into that position and find a way to make that work overall. But trying to do that across the 6 departments that we manage and the multiple divisions is, it's hard. It's very, very hard. And we're not saying that it is a convenience. It is certainly not a convenience for the department to be able to have something like that. We're not Mayberry any longer. We just would really like to retain that clerk position, at least at the clerk level, and have the court give us a year to see what we can do with that prior to just cutting the position. Because once again, it has not been vacant because we just are having work to do. We have been working directly with HR to come up with the job duties, the pay assessment, presenting it to court. Once again, it was, I believe, on the yes mark and I understand the court removed all those positions. It was on the yes mark from HR originally as well. So we would like to at least have a year to try to figure out if we can staff that and make it work. So we could staff it in a week, 2 weeks.
Major, why was it, I understand why you held it, but why couldn't you have a clerk that was working hard for you in a position, and then you bumped that clerk up $20,000 to the PIO spot? I guess that's my question.
It would have been the qualifications, Commissioner. So that the DA has done this previously where they've held a position open in lieu of like having that change with new qualifications. So basically, the qualifications for the clerk right now would not be the same qualifications for the conversion under the new posting. So we would have had someone in that position that was unqualified. It's the same argument that Josh Teetons has made in the past, our district attorney. Filling that spot would have put someone in there who was unqualified to be in it once it was converted.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Honor, this is an important position. How long has it been empty?
December
25.
2025.
So this December, it's been open a whole year.
But he is right, like the clerk qualifications and the qualifications for somebody to manage their duties.
But there were duties to be done, and that position's been open that long.
Yes, but giving someone that position as a clerk to then, when the functions would have been something else at a later point, would not have been, we would not have recommended filling the position either if they knew they wanted the position to perform higher complex functions with different qualifications.
My opinion. I've kind of been fighting, Precinct 4 has been fighting with one arm tied behind its back since I've been in office. And how many years have I asked for something and we don't get it? There has to be a year here and there where you pump the brakes and you quit adding head count. Has to be. It's not sustainable to continue to add anywhere from 1 to 6 or 7 people a year. It's not, if you want to be able to control the tax rate. If you don't care, you just want to throw a huge tax rate out there, but that's not what this court does, and that's not how it functions. I don't think I understand where it's coming from, but we all have to face it every now and then and do a little more with less.
Well, this is not, I mean, I exactly know where you're coming from. This is not really a head count change because they've had this position. They just haven't had it filled in 7 months. So they were
This is
asking.
the only way we're gonna get control of these.
Let's let people finish their thought.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. I mean, they were asking for a $20,000 bump up, $22,000 bump up in that position. It's not a new position theoretically, right, Anna?
Correct.
Just a bump up position, changing the criteria.
All across the spectrum, I'm reading about freezing hiring. You look out there. Article yesterday about a county that when they made their payments, they had like $250 left in the county coffers. Another county that's blowing the whistle that they're very concerned about the direction they're heading. School districts facing the same thing. I mean, it's out there, folks. We're not the only one facing it, but we've got to come up with a solution to it. And again, I agree with what Commissioner has said. At some point in time, we've got to put a stop. We've got to say, slow the horses, stop the horses. We got to quit. We got to quit adding people.
Okay.
And I agree, the only way to do that, according, with what, Commissioner Jones says, is to eliminate the position, not leave them vacant in the budget.
Okay, and just one other thing, and I'm not necessarily talking about this spot, but Judge Kelly in the 54th said that she would like to go this year and try it without that person, but was asking the court to consider putting a dollar placeholder in there so we don't forget about it, and that they'd be prepared to, if it works out, not fill that spot. She doesn't think they will, but they think they'll need it next year. And so it's a dollar placeholder. We've done it in other departments. Is there any interest in doing that in any of these? And I'm not promoting it one way or the other. I'm just.
Well, I thought Commissioner Jones made a good point.
Pardon me?
Commissioner Jones made a good point. That's what killed us this year in the budget, were the dollar placeholders.
Yeah, how many did we have? I didn't.
So,
think-
10. So a certain, I just had this thought, yeah, that did. But when it comes to personnel, we really need to get away from putting dollar placeholders.
On personnel.
On personnel.
Yeah.
Now, if it's an expenditure that we don't know exactly what the cost is or something like
knowing that you might have to replace a dump truck or something.
Or,
But you're gonna try to get through the year, then, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I understand what you're saying.
I didn't mean to jump in, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, we talked about dollar placeholders for those 2 security positions that the new jail decided because it's not gonna be, or at the new Justice Center.
Yeah.
But we decided because very likely it won't be used this year, let's not. So we haven't. And I agree with what you're saying. I'm not a fan of the dollar placeholder for personnel.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a consensus. All right. So now on this position, I think it's the last one. Sounds, if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking the consensus is that it's pulled. Correct? Have it not?
You had
Yes.
5 of them? You had 5 of them total?
Yeah, but the others are already,
I'm in favor of all 5 of them.
okay,
If we're gonna do one, we need to do them all.
okay.
And nothing says that if there's a dire emergency that pops up because of removing Hick, they can still come to court.
Yeah.
And plead their case.
Yeah, come out of general fund.
Right, and so it's not saying we don't want to hear from you, we're done. It's just it comes through the right channels, and instead of saying, well, I have the dollar placeholder, just come before the court.
Yeah.
Tell them what your needs are.
That's a tough decision.
And then something that this affects, of course, is that, that vacancy factor. So we're always watching that closely. And so this will get that closer to that and, you know, try to eliminate that delta between what we're budgeting and spending. But I think someone had asked about that yesterday. We were getting close to that 96%. And so this will push us closer, and then we'll just keep, you know, we'll study that some over August and let you know if we think anything differently. But just something we'll need to keep a close eye on.
Okay, thank you. All right, what's next?
Let me stick this number in here real quick. I want to make sure we can look at all this together. Okay, so I think those were the things that were lingering from yesterday. So we have some guidance there. I know just, you know, we're still working with some departments to trim budgets, looking at some furniture and that embedded in lines and what we can do, and we'll continue to do that this next month.
What did we do on furniture? Did we end up taking it all out or what?
So it's all combined with furniture and equipment, and a lot of it, you know, can just be, they don't know what may happen during the year. So we're gonna try to work on that over the next couple weeks and see
Oh,
if we can
okay.
pry out.
So we need to put it in there, but we can pull it out, is what you're
Yes,
saying?
yes, yes. It's just at this point, it's hard to know.
Okay.
But it's on the top of our list.
Because it's not separated out, and we've talked about that, having a separate line item maybe for furniture and one for equipment. That way it's really easy to see what's there.
Yeah.
But with them combined, somebody's computer goes down,
Yeah,
you gotta have one.
And some of the budget is based on things that they already know they need, like, I need to replace this, but some of it's for, if this goes down, I need to replace it. So some of it's a, you know, almost like a contingency there in case things happen. So we're gonna pry all that apart and figure out if we can cut that anywhere.
Okay.
Cut
So,
the furniture, so
well, okay,
I'm for it.
and so, you know, we had a consensus. We've kind of walked through everything else again and got a consensus. And again, I just want to say so that everyone's listening, this is the proposed budget. So nothing in this is set in stone
right.
by any means. And you have the ability to change anything in that proposed budget that you feel you need to before we adopt. So definitely not the adopted budget that we're looking at today.
There's two things that I want to bring up. One is we put a dollar placeholder on the incentive plan.
Yes, sir.
I think we need to go back to and fund that to, I think what we talked about was 500,000.
So if
And-
you're, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And then we'll have, before we have the final adoption, we can debate whether that stays in or not. The other one is financing the vehicles.
Yes.
Ken's been doing some work, and Dustin, you might want to weigh in on this about the cost of that financing and what we could save if we had adequate tax rate to go ahead and take those in and pay for them like we've been doing.
Yeah, essentially, and not 100% sure of the numbers the court was using, but used like $1.5 million on the purchase of the vehicles at 4.99% interest, and that does add up to about 160,000 in interest over the 4-year period. So talking to Ken yesterday, and he made a very valid point that over a 3-year period or so, that equates to 2 or 3 or 4 the cheaper vehicle, additional vehicles. Where if we were in the position to pay cash, that it could afford that opportunity.
I don't think anybody would argue the point that if we had cash, that'd be the easiest thing in the world to do. It would have been the easiest thing in the world for me not to finance mine. It would have been easy not to have to finance my house over 30 years. But I don't know that we can afford to throw that much money in on top of the cost of how many vehicles? 16? What are we up to
What
now?
he's saying, if we are increasing the tax rate, we're gonna have to pay this amount anyway.
We're gonna, yeah.
So it's gonna save us the interest if you did wanna go ahead and do that now.
A lot of things save you interest if you
Well,
pay it up front.
but if I won a big prize or something, and I could afford it, I'd pay cash for mine because it would be saving me money. And that's been one of the benefits of us having an unassigned fund balance of being adequate. And we don't have to go to the market to get short-term things financed. And that's what we've consistently done since we got out of trouble last time. And I think when we start, I'll say it again, we start pushing these things into next year's budget that's not taken care of this year, then it just makes it more difficult for the next budget and the next budget and the next budget when you can take care of it right now. And I think every taxpayer out there, if they had the money, they wouldn't go to the bank to borrow any money.
Right.
Well, nobody has that with the price of cars nowadays. Nobody has, very few people, 1% has the money to do that.
But they all would if they had it. They all would not borrow money.
And I guess the question is, do we have it? And yeah, we have it if we turn around and push it back on top of our taxpayers.
Well, do you think you're doing the taxpayer any favor by doing things that aren't prudent, by pushing all that forward to the next year? I think taxpayers say if you have an asset, you need to take care of it.
I think a lot of that depends on what the tax rate ends up being and what it's gonna cost people out of their pocket. And we talked about that yesterday, and that's still up for debate because, I'm not real keen on that last number that was thrown out yesterday.
Well, I know, it's too bad we have to do that. We'd been at least 0.5% lower if we wouldn't push last year's tax into this year.
To make that statement is, we don't know what all the factors are. We didn't know that
We know what 0.5% on revenue is.
we didn't know that our taxable values were gonna be
Nevertheless,
basically flat.
so we know what 0.5% would have been that we could have
Well,
got last year.
But, so I multiplied it, it's about $1.5 million. So, it's,
So that'd have been 0.5% we wouldn't have to raise this year. I mean,
I disagree completely, and
but you're not backing it up with
Well, you can't go back and change what, if we'd have done this last 2 or 3 years
don't you learn from your mistakes?
to a point. Yes, you do, Judge, you do.
But, the thing is
I
that,
sure don't want to get into debate and argument with y'all about it. I'm not, all I can do is state my position and.
Sure.
And whatever happens, and I've always gone along, but I'm.
Because I've talked to a couple of you, and so I kind of know what you went through yesterday. My question is, are we wanting to fix it, or are we just wanting to put a nice paint job on it?
Don't make
And
that.
which one, what are we wanting to do? Because you can go either way, and there's risks that come with putting a nice paint job on it and sending it back out. There's risks. Are you willing to take those? My personal thoughts are, fix it. Don't wait on somebody else to fix it. Don't wait on another department fix. We have to say what's doable and what's not in the process of fixing this and not just patching it.
And I agree with you, what's doable that we can fix. you know, we could do ourselves a great, I mean, there has to be a happy medium of what's doable immediately or what's doable over a period of time.
So
Mr. Wilson brought up a good point yesterday that, and what, you set the tax rate, you've got, before you approve the final tax rate, you've got time to work on that, but don't start out too low, because you can't raise it when you figure out, when everybody all of a sudden comes to the
And-
realization that you're pushing something to the next year.
So I think this debate is a little premature. Because you gotta know what you're gonna what your tax rate gonna be. Then you can come back and have these discussions about what I think,
You'll have a hearing too.
I've talked to 30 people in the last 2 days about their homeowners. You know, their taxes this year. Some of them went down $1,800. Mine went down $500. Everybody's taxes went down because of what Austin did. And now they're making us look like we're gonna be the evil people
The bad guys, yeah.
to raise our taxes, but in a big about way. I mean, I don't think people that realize, you know, they look at their taxes and it went down, like mine went down 500. The average people I talked to, they went down $1,000 minimum. That's substantial money in their pocket. But to keep our services going the right direction, I can't stand the word tax. I can't stand that number that we saw earlier, but you have to be a realist in what we can do to keep our services going up and to fix this, like you said, instead of kicking the can down the road, just keep kicking it down the road.
In the state,
And we don't even know what the state's gonna do.
well, they said appraisals every 5 years, so that means whatever it is, you're stuck with that value for the next 5 years, the way I understand it. So I think you end up getting yourself in a real bind there. You can't get out of it.
6 cents is a 17% increase in taxes. The cap is 3.5%. I know we have the luxury of,
the rollover.
of the carry forward or banking increment. But, those decreases those are only estimates that they got. We're gonna eat all that, we're gonna eat a lot of those estimates up. So,
What do you mean? I mean,
Yeah, I don't
explain.
understand that.
Eat up, what do you mean? I mean, eat, because
They-
the school boards I talked to, the 3 or 4 in my area, they're all low on their taxes, school taxes too.
because they have to, I guess,
Yeah,
essentially.
because they have to, and they're getting more in the long run, you know, from Austin, so.
So our increase is not gonna impact individual tax.
But what do you mean? I
Right.
mean, I'm, just, can you acknowledge me on that, about eat up? I mean. about-
Well, you have a total tax rate that you pay at the end of the day. I mean, ours is going, if we increase 6 cents, that's a 17% increase.
It's too bad that we have to do that, but
It's horrible. But if it wouldn't have come from Austin like it did, we wouldn't be talking this.
Well, somebody's got to be accountable to the taxpayers, so. I mean,
I feel like if we raise the tax rate enough to cover our expenses and don't push liabilities, whether they be deferred maintenance or not taxing enough to cover adequately cover our expenses. We've done a good job on the personnel side, I think, and appreciate Commissioner Smith digging in on a lot of those and finding out things about that. But the other things are primarily, if we cut, we're not gonna be able to handle all the deferred liabilities that we have, whether they be financial liabilities or things not getting fixed. A good example is Precinct 2 and what they've gone through in the last several years and what Commissioner Wilson was faced with when he came into office. And it's gonna take him years to to work out of that, and that would be the same thing in anything else that we do. He's gonna have to take, this court's gonna have to afford him the ability to bring back that area that's similar to what you would expect if you're driving anywhere across the county. And all that was caused by deferred maintenance.
You know, I'm amazed at how much money everybody's cut out of their budgets to try to help us this
Yeah.
year. Of course, us too, you know, what, $1.4 million?
Commissioner's done a great job,
We cut a $1.4 million.
but you can't keep doing that.
No, sir. We've talked about it every day in here. We're the one, you've been cut. Then look at, maintenance of buildings. They've given and given and given, and our buildings aren't gonna get any better if we
No.
don't fix them.
Yeah.
So, look how far our IT was really behind that we didn't know it was behind, and we're having to catch up on that, so.
You know, I think the point being is, any comments that's been made is not wrong. I understand where Commissioner Jones is coming from.
Sure.
Being responsible to the taxpayer, but it's also making sure that you don't take the taxpayer dollars and put them at risk by making decisions that are not. So it's both. It's the tax rate itself, and it's not letting the court get itself in a position where we have to go ask for more. So it's a fine line, and I get it. My deal here is what I want to know is, what are we wanting to take care of financially? Figure that out, and then what do we have to increase the tax rate by to accomplish that? And that's, I mean, if we're talking about paying cash for the cars, then let's throw that in. What do we gotta do with the tax rate? What are the things that we absolutely have to move forward that don't put the next court at risk? And then what is it gonna cost us? And let's go from there.
Well, I think one thing is you need to be sure you're going into these next uncertain years on things that we have no control of to be able to handle them. Commissioner Smith talked about an entity, where they don't have any money left. Well, that's probably because they didn't do a very good job up front, putting money in the bank and being ready. That's why that's a security, is to be financially strong, to be able to weather storms and get good ratings and get lower interest rates on your bonds and all those kind of things. And I think that's important. And I feel just, Commissioner Jones and I feel exactly right, the same. We want to be responsible to the taxpayers. He's got a different approach than I do. And in my approach is, before this next storm hits, get it fixed, get back where you have some agility to deal with these issues going forward. And then, hey, this court will get a lot of credit for cutting the tax rate in the future. You'll be able, just in the next few years, if the economy keeps going like we hope it does, and cut the tax rate and get the credit for it.
Well, just looking at history, y'all have done that.
We have.
You cut it 21 cents.
And we're 19 net, I think 19 cents net.
Yeah,
last
that's
10 years.
amazing, but, your tax rates are here, what I think, they might be kind of going a little bit like this. Your expenditures are going like this, and all of a sudden,
Yeah,
we take a dip
yeah.
like this, and the expenditures are going up.
Yep.
So,
Expenditures have never stopped.
right, so I mean, it has to, something
Well, the
has to
thing
happen.
that we got into the trap of, in my opinion, is that we were, at the same time we were cutting our tax rate, we were also increasing expenditures mainly through headcount.
Yes,
Yeah, you're right.
And
but there's a
and
growing
so,
county.
we're not a fast-growing county. We're,
Probably 2%.
Yeah.
it's never too hot or never too cold here, but there seems to be a slowing, just a pretty easy perpetual. They're easily perceived slowing in the in what's going on for whatever reason. So,
I would just hate to see the next year's court or the court after that have to cut 30 positions or something just to keep us afloat. And that's gonna hurt the services of all our taxpayers. So, that's what I'm concerned about.
we'll get a pretty good reading during the time that we have hearings on the tax, on the proposed, tax rate too. But then, you know, that's why we're transparent about these meetings, where they know what we're doing and give us feedback, about it. So, I know even, our citizen, Constable Strickland gave me his opinion yesterday. Yes, sir.
Look, I really appreciate the work the court's done in trimming the budget and also taking care of personnel. You know, one of our biggest assets is people. And the cost of rehiring and retraining people far exceeds keeping people. And so it's better to spend a dollar keeping somebody than it is to spend $10 hiring somebody new. The other thing that concerns me though is just from a private sector standpoint of having been in the construction business for 30 years, you look around at the growth of the county, there's a huge amount of growth coming. You know, when I talk to the city manager of Waco, they've got all this development going in Speakerville. You talk to people, I've got a subdivision being worked on, McGregor, and there's 2 other bigger ones coming behind it. Those things take several years to get money in place, but it's happening. And so the only concern we have there is hanging on until all of that infrastructure and everything is done, and you actually get houses on the ground and taxi time for that. The big concern I see for y'all is you've got this jail building you're finishing up, and that's a great project. But then, where's the money gonna come to remodel all of this stuff? You know, that's gonna be a big expense. About 7 years ago, I built, my wife and I built a 6,500 square foot house, and we were at $100 a foot because I did it myself. Well, we sold it, it was great, made money, but it cost me, I built a house 2,400 square feet to retire in, and it cost me more money to build that house than it did to build the other one, a lot more. And the values are about the same. And so if the state's gonna put a lock on your appraisal for 5 years, and right now appraisals are down, then I don't think you're getting enough money to survive, because you're gonna be locked in here on your values, and you've got all these costs and maintenance things that I see coming, and I personally, I think you want to be looking at 7 or 8% opinion, because when you factor 5 years in, you may not get another shot, you may not get another raise. It's easy to back off, but it's hard to raise it. So if you're going to raise it, get enough to do the job right.
And you've got a good point. You'd like to think that in 5 years, values will be up, but they may not. And then you lock in for another,
I don't think they would be. I think it's going to take a while. And they were artificially inflated. Let's be realistic to make no good thing. California money coming in here. I had people begging me to sell stuff, and we finally did just because they offered ridiculous amounts of money. But those same people are finding out now that they're upside down.
Yeah, it's not as good a deal as it
Well, it's a great deal for me, but
for them.
Yeah.
but I just, I don't have a vote here.
There's better deals in the
appreciate y'all's work.
rest of the US.
Because I don't think I think over the next 5 years, you're not gonna get opportunities to increase. You better get it now.
Thank you. Okay, let's do this. Let's take a 10-minute recess and come back.
When we come back, can we go back through outside entities? Because I'm pretty sure were some ones that didn't have consensus.
Okay.
All right,
He's willing to discuss that.
all right.
Recording in progress.
Let's call court back into session. All right, Francis, I think where we were going is we wanted to look at outside entities one more
Yes,
time to
sir.
be sure we have a consensus.
Yes, sir.
Judge-elect, we got some caffeine down the road.
Yeah, we do something.
Can we throw things at you if you doze off? Do you mind?
So I'm gonna pull up our spreadsheet again that summarizes
Okay.
these. If you want me to pull up, like back up on the screen that we received from them, just let them know. Pull this up, I don't know what happened. Okay. I'm gonna zoom in. Okay, so just to get our bearings here, so this sheet is divided in several sections, and we can go through these sections again. So this column I've highlighted, column K, that's FY '27, so that's what we have a consensus on. We feel like there are some items we'll see below that there was a consensus on getting more information, and so that's how those appear, and we'll touch on those. But I'll just walk through these.
Okay.
Advocacy Center, that one remained the same. I know we're still waiting on some information there of possibly funding that a different way, but we'll keep y'all posted there. And then these, of course, are just all the same. And so I guess if I get to one, y'all can let me know. So animal birth control, the Cove, DPS. We have our dispute resolution center, historical commission, Waco Family Medicine, so that is one that there was a percentage increase.
Yep.
And Dr.
Contracted.
Griggs talked on that. There was consensus there for that one at that time. Meals on Wheels, CASA, Crime Stoppers, the libraries that fall outside the Waco McLennan County Library. So there are 5 of those at $10,000. The Fire Protection Services, so this is one, the base request was the same, but they added in this $320,000 for the communication system. And so this is one we have in there because there was just going to be some thought put on that one, and maybe some further discussions need to be had.
Was there any back and forth, has there been any back and forth since Tuesday about
Funding?
if the cities would put in?
Well, the problem with, they have looked into that, but all the other cities are already almost done with their budgets. So they were behind the 8 ball on that since the court asked them to do that. But they did, the recurring event is gonna be like a $200,000 a year, reoccurring, and they are gonna work hand and foot hard to get the cities to pay for that $200,000 from continuing on.
Dustin, do you have any update on that as well? Or no?
No, sir. The last thing was that the association was pushing that request out to the cities, but we've had no follow-up.
Right.
And I agree, if we're gonna fund the initial cost of it, then there needs to be some sharing with those cities that are gonna benefit from it. And I'm not gonna say, hey, it'll go away if they don't, but I think the thought needs to be there that we're not gonna fund that entire $200,000 every year by ourselves.
So, do we leave it in there for right now and then cut it out during the, if we don't get any information back from the,
Well, the 320 will cover the first year of it.
okay,
I
so
think we wanna leave that
It'll
in
be
there.
the
That's
two, it'll be
my
after that the 200 will.
it's after that.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yes,
agree
sir.
with you.
We'll, I go to every one of their meetings and sit at the table with them.
And put them on notice now, too. Not wait until next year, but put them on notice now. We'll do it, but next year,
It's
it's not gonna happen.
it's been noted.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Soil and water conservation, and then the one that, there's just timing, it shows nothing in 2026, but it's because we paid it in 2025 for 2026. There's $2,500 for Bridge to Success. City of Waco, So I know we talked through those earlier this week again. So based on the contracts and the way those contracts are worded right now, these are the amounts that would apply to us. Again, based on the way the contracts are worded in the budgets.
Comment there,
Yeah.
and Dustin, I know this is something we've talked about for quite a while, but this is something I think we need to desperately work on this year with the city on those contracts, as far as reworking those contracts. I'm not saying we're at a disadvantage, but with operating with the current contracts, we don't have a lot of control over cost.
Right, is that specifically the library commissioner? I know there'll be an interlocal update to the Animal Shelter Services interlocal on next Tuesday's agenda, and it's going to add those transport fees back in, and then there was another fee, but of course that's based off the prior year's billing. And then the health district, I know we're locked into that 5-year emergency management is
And how did that go up? How did we end up 120,000 more with emergency management?
So this is the one, this is showing the difference between year to year. For 2026, that budget amount of 408 is not what we'll end up spending. It will be more because we did not have a final budget number in the prior year. So.
So you're saying, but this 528, 247 is a lock? It's
So that's,
definite.
they have not adopted their budget. No, they're in the same process we are. That's their proposed budget, so.
Dustin, you have any update on that?
no, sir, I do not on that piece.
Because, in their proposed budgets, they have a COLA like we do and things like that. And so, they're still having those conversations, so they will be tweaked. But that should be a good estimate because he didn't have any other increases in his budget. So that's why that one looks a little odd for this year.
And OSSF based on fees
And their
charge,
expenses.
yeah, so, okay.
Yes, sir.
Can we go back to the Waco Library just for a minute? I've asked questions,
Here.
but I'm new here too. So that contract, Dustin, has not been touched since 1978?
So it's in existence since 1978. For the past 3 or 4 years, we had basically done a 1-year addendum where we were funding it at that $1,075,000. So our commitment under that 1978 contract is to be a 1/6 participant, which works out to be 16.6%. And so that's where, as Francis is showing now, where those that's that 1/6 level of funding. But yes, sir, and I think the city and the county both acknowledge that we need to update it for numerous reasons. The library's turning to more of a digital circulation, and so it is something that we need to sit down with the city and update.
Well, one of the things that I'm thinking about, going back to libraries very quickly, and I know that's something that I would relish us discussing cost on the main library and the satellites. But with the cities themselves, that we fund money, is there any agreement in there that they will issue library cards to residents outside of the city? I think Hewitt allows that to happen without any cost. And I would like to see at least a thought that if we're going to furnish money to them, that they allow people from outside the city in the unincorporated areas to also participate in that library.
Okay, we can take a look at that, Commissioner.
Okay.
Can I throw something out real quickly as we look at these?
Yes, sir.
We didn't cut anybody. We just said you're getting what you got last year, right?
Well, we're not done yet.
Well, that's what the point I'm about to make is, it's silly for us to go, we're gonna leave these alone, but we're looking everywhere else to kind of cut things. If it doesn't have a life safety issue to it, it should get cut.
So would you be in favor of moving, what came to my mind was moving that library back to $1,075,000?
That's what we've been giving them the last 3 years or so, correct?
Has it been that long?
Maybe 4.
I can pull it up real quick.
But if you look at the advocacy center, I think that's a life and a safety issue there, with the work they do. But everything else that you look at, I think we need to put a cut on it, 10%, 15%. But if we're sitting here worried about cutting everybody else's and we just let everybody come in and go, well, we'll just do what we did for you last year. Doesn't make sense to me, I guess, is.
Good point.
I do just want to, just on the library, we do have an existing contract. So just want to point that out, even though it is 1978 and it has deadlines associated with it, where the city sends us the notice, we commit. I think typically it's supposed to be by July 1st or so, but just point out that it is a contractual arrangement.
But we're
And we have
But haven't
deviated
they-
from it.
staff,
Yes.
admin, and things like that.
But haven't they been asked to decrease their budget at the library?
I know they cut hours. I know the recommendation was to cut more hours. I think council did not go that far. And I believe going forward, this year, there's another recommendation for hours to be cut, but it's going to be a council decision.
Well, I would say,
That's not that wasn't my question about hours. It's about their total budget.
I'm not sure, Commissioner. All I know is that the cutting the hours would cut the budget.
well, if it cuts the total budget, shouldn't we share some in that
Yeah, shouldn't we get the,
cut? Dustin, that would be the point I would ask them. If
Right.
if
We
they're-
would be
if they're-
that 1/6.
Yeah, then there should be a corresponding cut for us.
I'm looking at trying to find the presentation for this year. To look at that actual 1/6 amount. Give me 1 second and I'll jump back.
Well, that's okay, we can go on, you
Well, while
can
he's
jump
looking
back
at
in.
that, someone had asked like what we had historically paid. So yes, for last 3 fiscal years, 2026, 2025, 2024, we were at that $1,075,000 level. And then prior to that, it fluctuated. Going back to 2020, we were right at 900,000. So it's worked its way up to where it is now.
I'm not a math major, but if you tell somebody to cut their budget, which was 10,075 last year, why is it going up this year for us? So.
Francis, can I share my screen real
Oh,
quick?
of course, I'm stopping mine.
So I do just want to point out, so current contribution is that 1,075,000. So based off the level 1 formula, which is the 1/6, it would be the 1,092,999. It looks like the 1.2 is an increase above that it's an additional investment to enhance digital services county residents use most. So the 1/6 level formula would be that 1,092,999.
Plug it in.
I think we go with the 109299.
yep.
You agree?
But back to what Commissioner's saying, do we want to look back and say the non-life, what was the term you used?
If it has a life safety issue that's involved,
Emergency
I
management.
understand that, right? But,
Everybody else,
I mean, Waco Sports Commission, the ABC Animal Clinic, we're having to cut. I mean, I'm sorry. I hate to tell them, but
well,
we're making cuts. And
we've already, some discussion, we need to match Waco's contribution to
on the sports commission.
GWSC.
Okay.
So, I don't mean to interrupt. I was gonna say, just on this library, so we have their 1.2, which was their request. So was there a consensus to bring that down to the amount before their additional?
1/6.
Okay.
1,092,000, whatever,
999.
999.
999.
Be exact.
So that's $107,000 and $107,001 difference.
Good job.
Sneaking up on them.
I'm not gonna adopt, I'll
And-
I'll incorporate this in a
Okay.
minute. I'm not gonna change it there quite yet, because it feeds into stuff.
Okay, I guess we wait till we get to that one, but Dustin's got, I think, the numbers on what Waco has in their budget for GWSC.
Right. So I can pull the email up very quickly. Give me 1 second. their recommendation for FY 27 is going to be 80,000. That's the same level they are currently at. They had been previously at 100,000 in FY 24 and 25. Again, 80,000 for FY 26, and for FY 27, the proposal to council is going to be 80,000.
I'm sorry, I missed, who is that on?
GWSC.
That's
Okay.
the sports commission.
Okay.
Okay,
So what were they asking?
so let's go,
Asking 120.
do we want to hop down to that one?
Yes. That's fine.
So Greater Waco Sports Commission, they requested more, at this time, we had in there the same amount as last year's.
But I think the thought here is to match what Waco's got in.
Yes. I think that's a pretty good consensus.
I'm good with that.
So $80,000 is the number there for Greater Waco Sports.
They're suggesting,
What I'm suggesting is we take everything else, and if there's not a life safety issue involved with it, we pick a percentage and we cut it.
Okay? Go back and put a check mark by everything, or
What if it's new?
Which one were we talking about there, Commissioner? I'm sorry.
There's some new ones down the list here.
Have we awarded any funds, or not awarded, but have we given funds to that yet, or are we still?
well, are you talking, what you talking about, lay down at the bottom, you talking about PACES?
Paces, yeah.
Okay, are we,
you go
y'all
back
lost
to-
me.
let's go back
Are
to
we
the
gonna,
top.
Well, we're skipping all over.
Let's go to the top and identify
of course.
the ones that we,
So Advocacy Center, and I'm gonna start highlighting these and y'all can tell me your feelings, and then I'll create a color code based on what y'all.
I don't want to cut
the
out.
work they
I don't wanna
perform
cut
with the
that,
kid,
yeah.
right, that's
Life saving to me.
that's a life safety.
I'm gonna make that green, and we'll continue that through
Okay.
this. Okay. ABC, Animal Birth Control Center.
I think it needs to be, we need to figure out how much do we want to cut from these that we identify here? Do we want to do a percentage?
Half, 25, 10.
let's get all the greens first, right?
I have one thought, if we go ahead and do it, like, I don't have a problem with 10, if that's what you were thinking in your mind. But don't we send a letter out, Dustin, to each of them telling them that we've awarded this to them this year?
I think there is some communication that goes out. I know typically, we have contracts with entities that lay out what the expectations are and what the county purpose served is. So Francis or Reagan, do you know what actually goes out in terms of confirmation after budget?
Yes, I send out notification of what the court has decided.
The reason I say that, with that notification, if we include a letter saying going forward, be prepared for more cuts based on the economy or something like that, so we put them on notice that that's gonna happen, instead of just pulling the rug out from under them. And I don't have a problem with doing that little bit right now, but tell them in the future, there's a chance
Right.
it'll be reduced further and could go away.
And some of these, we might want to, well, first of all, economic development things, we need to really look at keeping those funded, because we're supposed to get a return back. But any of these others, if there's questions about it, we can have, and I know that, Dr. Riggs and, Chris Lancaster want to come and talk about PACES, to make sure everybody's clear on, what the goals are. So we could put it in there, but in this August period that we bring it in, if we're not convinced that's a thing to do, then we cut it and lower the tax.
Well, and I haven't been here long enough to know the history of all of the outside entities, but I think some of you have said that we've kind of gotten away from our mission of what we originally started with, that we've added more and more.
On which?
On all the outside entities, that originally if they were educational or life-saving, but it seemed like we've gone past that. I've heard that comment made. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't
don't
been
know.
there.
I mean, we make decisions based on every year on the majority of the court, so,
But
but there could be drift. I mean, yeah.
I think we could have done a better job. We require an audit of these people, correct?
Yeah, yes,
What's their cash position look like?
yeah.
Are we just adding to their cash position every year when they come in and ask?
Well, the most.
Or is it to
I would
keep-
think they'd be spending on the services that they provide, but we can
Yeah, but
make
if
sure
they've
we
got a
check them.
huge cash position.
Yeah.
Why aren't
They're
we?
not necessarily a nonprofit if they.
Yeah, I'm not suspicious any of those are that way, but,
Right, I mean, none on our list
yeah,
are.
yeah,
I agree with you
Yeah.
100%.
yeah.
I'm not, I retract that last comment.
I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
No,
But it's
We need
silly
to
of
see.
us.
In
It's
fact-
silly of us to go, well, hey, you've got $1 million cash position. Well, here's your 150.
Inspect what you expect, you know? Trust but verify, all those things. Okay?
I would say
say just
DPS would be,
So
Stay.
was there, so
It's a
animal birth control, what are we, is that one that's something that if you did consider a cut, that would be one that you would consider? That I just want to
I think it is.
categorize them,
yeah, I
so.
would let's just hit the emergency ones like Ben talked about. So DPS is emergency, needs to
The
stay.
Cove,
So, hang on a minute.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
What she's asking, if there's something that we might, if we want to do a percentage cut, then,
Okay.
in other words, not eliminate.
Yellow.
Or not
Yes.
approve,
Okay,
and she's got a different color for those. If you
Gotcha.
want to eliminate them,
gotcha.
there'll be another color.
okay, so the animal cove is yellow, okay.
So ABC, Cove, is that one that we may consider a cut to?
No, I don't think so. I think that's,
Well, I
I think
mean,
that's a life safety.
On the Cove?
Yeah.
That's an educational,
Yeah.
I would,
I would have to go yellow on the code right now.
I agree.
Okay,
So,
yellow.
Cove, okay. DPS,
green,
and this specifically, it's been the same for a long time, but it is to help support radar updates, new radars.
That
as
could
well as
affect your
their-
revenue, so you.
It does very much so, fines and fees, and
That's a
as
small
well as
fee.
the
It's a very
update of
small
their
fee.
crash data software that they utilize.
Okay,
They're green.
Okay.
Okay, we have dispute resolution. So this is there is one piece that is in a special revenue fund specifically for this purpose. That's the 90,000. And then there's a different type of funding that comes from the general fund. And so,
I think it has those cost savings to it, though, the fact that the resolution center's there.
Correct.
I think there's a lot
Can have
of
an
court
impact
cost
on the
savings.
dollars.
this keeps people out of the courtroom, out of this building, so I think
Right.
that's important.
Yep.
Agree.
okay.
green,
Green,
yeah.
Historical Commission,
I think it's education. I think it's necessary.
Okay, green.
Green,
I agree.
Family Medicine.
green,
green,
Meals on Wheels,
green. That's my, yeah,
yes. CASA,
I think it's green.
Me too.
green.
tell me if I disagree. Crime Stoppers.
Yellow. I don't know.
Anybody else on yellow?
I'm good. It needs to be considered.
Yellow.
sure.
Okay.
And then we have our 5 libraries, McGregor, West, Moody, Hewitt, Mart.
They're educational,
Go back to educational.
Yep.
If that's one of your goals.
Yeah.
and if we're increasing our funding to the City of Waco Library. So,
So, I mean, I'd say green. But
I'm
there
green.
is one that y'all look at the library, the whole library situation countywide, from individual cities to the big picture, and see if there's another way to look at it. It's time. I mean, the city also agrees that it's time to relook at that contract and the models
I
that,
think all of it needs to be
yeah,
thrown in and looked
yeah.
at.
So that might be one that we, Reagan, that we put on the first retreat, budget retreat.
Fire protection, so again, this is the one with the increased ask for this year.
Green.
Green.
Soil and water conservation, and so this is where that soil and water conservation district, brings needs later in the year.
Yeah, it's
Up to that amount.
Dam.
maintenance.
Is that dam safety?
Yeah, yeah.
Only if you
course.
don't mind the dam bursting or something down the stream.
And then these were
Well-
ones,
I mean, that's, how many bad dams do we have,
Bunch. Okay.
and so then we had, this was the only one that was, had that difference there, but like I said, it's just, we funded it in 2025, not 2026.
Well, you know where I stand. I'm green on that because I know it helps a lot of folks.
We're talking about soil and conservation?
No,
Bridge to success.
That's a new one.
Okay.
I know it was one of Commissioner Miller's, and, but it,
Well, we've already cut it, right?
Well, it was 5,000 last year, but,
So we've already made a cut yet, the
Oh,
others,
okay.
we haven't made a cut.
I didn't realize that.
well, there was a funding that y'all found for us last year, which was very appreciated.
It was it initially was a no, and then we worked around and found some money
Yes, sir.
to do it, but there's no, well, I think we said at that time, it was a one-time deal. But, it's back, and I think, I'm speaking for Commissioner Wilson, but he supports it. So,
I'm green.
Ben, you're green?
We've already cut it.
Okay,
We already cut it from 5.
thank you.
Because I would have said it would be cut just like the other ones that we have, but we've already cut it.
And so then, of course, we just went through City of Waco. I made this one here. We decided to do the 1,092,999.
Really not much we can do on the other contracts there, right?
No.
I don't, yeah, it's hard. I'm just gonna continue this so I can sort these in a minute. And so then the next section is the HOT-BHN contracts. So there are various contracts, of course.
And those are all contracts. We're locked in on those, right?
So no, there'll be new contracts to come for the upcoming fiscal year. There's a new contract at each year. They just had notified us that there would be no change in the
No
request.
changes, though. Okay.
The request in the new contract.
And all of those we're currently involved in, isn't that correct?
yes, sir.
Okay. Why is the one empty there that says,
Jail diversion?
let me look at it. It says contract personnel.
Yes. So they originally had staff to help with mental health. I
Oh,
don't- I
that's
don't
the
know all
one we
details.
pulled, that's the one we pulled.
So yes, and then our cost would turnkey
Yeah, that's right.
increase to
Okay.
accommodate those changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a
Okay.
trade-off.
Okay.
Green.
Yeah, we got to green those all the way down, I guess.
All right. And then the ones at the bottom, we just kind of consider more economic development related. So MPO, this is something I think y'all are, we're obligated for as we're a member of the MPO that they,
Does everybody pay that that's a member?
I-
How's that work?
What did I remember, it was a,
Well, it's done on all the cities, there's categories in there. And the city of Waco and the county, and it was based off population, I think.
yeah, population, but, so like Ross is a member and it serves on the board, but so is Waco, but Waco's got numerous members and we've got 2.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
So,
Every
I have
city's
those
got-
details.
Right.
If you need, it's based off population levels. It's 5,000 to 20, population 5,000, 20,000, they're 5,000 a year. Cities populations 50,000 and over contribute 50,000, and the county's a 20,000 contributor.
thank you.
And by the way, there's a lot of data in there that you can access if you want to. About
You're so
roads and
inclined.
bridges and- Yeah, if you're so inclined. But,
Well, I mean, and Dr. Kamar has done a great job.
Yeah.
Since he's come on, And this, this goes for these dollars go to match, grants, is, cash match on grants.
And so there's local priorities that that board sets. One of them,
Right. Well,
one
let's bring that up, yeah.
that makes two bridges. It crosses the Brazos River between here and west, and then the other one is down back towards Riesel. And both of those will be economic development.
Life,
impact,
and
sure.
life, and
Life safety as well. But, so commissioners be able to get their equipment from one side of the river to the other.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, but just like any other,
You know, I'll just give an example, Riesel has, or was it Riesel or Galinda one? And then Ross and China Spring, they can't help one another.
yeah, yeah,
They have to stand on the side of the river and
yeah.
watch it burn.
So that's a green,
Yeah.
Well, the same thing would be with Robinson helping Riesel.
Yeah.
It's
same
just,
like Robinson
I mean,
Lane,
you could,
yeah.
you could stand on the riverbank, throw a rock across from Robinson and hit Riesel. You can't get there.
Yep.
And it's just, not just other stuff, but major bad wrecks that happen on Highway 6. and
Yeah, the
Riesel.
ambulances,
Can't get no
yeah.
help, so, and ambulance, you're right, ambulances are,
That's come all the way from Waco.
As Justin Wilson said, you can't get there from here.
okay?
Creative Waco.
Yellow.
yellow.
What's my colors? The McLennan Community Investment Fund.
That's economic development. I'd say green on that one though.
I agree.
Greater Waco Sports Commission.
So I
it
think
does
we
have
need
a-
to,
We've already done
on
that
the
one.
investment fund.
I know, but my point is, it does have a piece of economic development to it as well.
It does.
I'm sorry, Will.
I thought we were just mainly working on life safety issues here. And so they're now a part of a
That's a good point.
bigger corporation. So that brings in outside money also too, so.
I take my green back. Okay.
On which one?
On the investment fund.
Really?
For the moment, I take the green, I put it in the yellow.
We were trying to do safety.
And again, and Judge, I agree with you, but we have no statistical knowledge of how much it's increased our economic development. I mean, if we had something that showed how much money's been poured in the community, how many jobs it's created and those things, I would say, yes, it would be green, but we don't have any of that. Unless y'all do, I mean, maybe y'all know more about the program than I do, but.
Did they present, Garen, the big present?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they talked about the merger with that national organization, which
And they should
it
have a lot more
uses a lot of more access to more
Funds.
dollars for them.
Yeah.
Yellow.
But you have to have a commitment from locals to get access to the other dollars.
So it seems like then there's
Yellow.
consensus
Yellow.
Yellow.
that it's non-life safety. Okay, Greater Sports Commission, we already talked about, so I went ahead and did that one, and then I went ahead and plugged this amount in here because that was something you aligned with the city of Waco. So Startup Waco.
Yellow. Yellow.
Which one?
Startup Waco.
Waco?
Startup Waco was or is the entity that, where they, you remember they came in and we pushed it to WebMec to do, but they'll put $500,000 of money from investors and all for startup companies that originate here, both with the Brick and Baylor and all the entities that have been starting up here recently, or in the last 5 years. I think it's 5 years old. But our initial contribution to them was to access to the building, the rents and those kind of things. And then now it's expanding and having money to partner with what they call angel groups that invest, where they bring capital in and be partners in the group.
And
What
Judge,
we're doing is just the 50,000 is just the base piece of it. And then they'll look to the WebMec for any money, but WebMec has said, y'all need to go ahead and raise that money now before we have an interest in.
So,
and just so we're on the same page real quickly, I'm not talking about 100% cut. I'm just identifying what we're gonna cut a percentage of. We're not eliminating, I'm not saying we
Right,
eliminate.
I understand.
I'm just saying.
That's what I keep looking at, because if you're talking about a 10% cut, that's $5,000 off that,
And, well.
off that one. I'm just.
I only
we haven't
threw that out
decided
there.
on the percentage yet either.
No, we haven't yet. I was just using that as a yardstick to figure.
Okay.
Yellow.
Texas Brazos Trail, our sweet friends.
Yellow.
Well,
I mean-
they have different sponsorship levels,
Oh, that's right.
and we used to be at 15, and we've cut it back to 10. It is educational. I think if we cut a percentage off, we're gonna fit in between a couple of different sponsorships, I guess.
Key thing, you said we've already cut it.
Yeah, we've cut it one,
15 to 10.
All right,
right,
green.
In a prior year, not
in a
this year.
prior year,
Right, but it's been cut before.
Yes, it has.
These others haven't been.
right.
And then we have our chamber pieces. And so we had already pulled out the In Waco piece you'll see there. But the other ones were, there was similar request, for their basic funding, and then that impact data license, and then the regional workforce initiative.
So nothing changed, other than we're pulling out of In Waco.
Yeah, lowering it,
They didn't go up, they didn't go down, they just stayed the same.
yeah.
Okay.
so that would actually be a net
Lower.
lower.
Yeah, it's 50,000 lower net.
I'm good with those, turning
Leave
those
them as
green.
is. Perfect.
I'm for cutting 10% of Space Court's number there.
Well, they always have an estimated amount, but
I'm ready
there's,
to go 100%
I
on
think
that.
it hovers 10,
wrong, Judge?
12,000. Some years they never use it.
They never
Some
use
years
it,
they do,
yeah.
but it gets brought to you. So we kind of thought it best last year to leave it out, and then if they have it, they'll bring it later, but
And
I don't want to budget for it if
Rick,
we're
you're
not
on
sure.
that committee, right? Oh, you're not?
Do they even meet?
Yeah. I missed the last meeting.
What do you do now, Rick?
On the spaceport?
Yeah,
The spaceport?
yeah, they meet.
They meet?
Fixing to wonder.
And
January
tell me
2nd.
again, Judge, what Spaceport, they're dealing with aviation industry, trying to attract aviation industry. isn't that it?
Exactly right, in all different forms, and then also anything that has to do from promoting more air access into the area, all the way to spaceships.
Right,
I mean,
right.
it's broad,
Yeah.
but it's, we're one of the few in the state, and I think there's some state funding match in there too, but anyhow, y'all may remember Terry Stevens represented us
Yeah.
before, and there was very little expenses that they'd send him to a conference or something, and he didn't charge anything for his time, but it was to pay his expenses to go.
And that, when we have had expenses there, it has been like when Mr. Stevens would travel, it
Yeah.
would be to reimburse those charges. So it
Right.
wasn't anything up and above those
And,
types of admin fees.
Chris Collins really says we need to stay hooked in that deal, what all's going on here, and
That's fine. Leave it at the one.
That's why I have it at the dollar.
leave it at $1.
Leave it at $1.
And so then, of course, we brought the WIMDEC funding down to 3.5 million.
Yeah.
And so then we get into the three pieces under Prosper Waco. So this first line, it's not something you necessarily said no to. It was just that we're going to assume that we're going to use opioid settlement funds for it. So we just don't have it here because we don't need to account for it in general fund. There's the PACES piece, the $263,900. Just a reminder, we did fund $50,000 last year, and that was funded through our ARPA grant. And then the Upskill Waco piece, we pulled out
Yeah, we pulled that one out.
You said Paces is coming back to talk to us.
Yeah, they had, for further clarification, just because there was questions about it and,
But to go from you, and I guess I think there was some misunderstanding originally, maybe just on my part, that the 263.9 was split between us and Waco or some other entities, but in fact, it's not. It's the 263.9 is what they're asking of us, which is the same thing they're asking of Waco.
and the hospitals also contributed.
So we don't really know what their entire budget is.
Yeah, we can get that.
We'd like, I think that when they come back, we'd like
Yeah,
to see
they'll
that.
have it, yeah.
I'd also like to see how that money breaks out. In other words, they're saying they're gonna spend $167,000 on professional team. Well, if you double that to 244,000, and then throw in the teams from the hospital, who's getting paid that money?
Who's the professional
Who
team?
are the professionals? Who are the administration that's gonna make
Well,
60,000? We don't know. I don't know how that money's being spent to go all the way from 50,000 one year to 263.9 the next year.
That's what you'll hear when we invite them
It's a
back.
fair question, though.
And that bothers me a little bit. And at some point, is this going to be a committee that's going to be asked to be funded for perpetuity? Or at some point, is there some fruition going to come from their studies that then this money that we've been putting here, we can transfer into something and see some tangible results, some people being helped?
Yeah, like our indigent health program.
Okay, that's what example, yeah, indigent health. Or is this something that they see as lasting forever? And I don't know.
well,
We'll get the presentation.
I'll throw it out there in the Will Jones spirit. What if we put $1 place mark on it and let them earn that 263.9 when they come do the presentation?
Well,
Well, no, in my opinion, you'd put it in there and then take it out if they didn't.
if we don't like what we hear in August,
Yeah.
we can.
Pull it out and lower the tax rate.
But I just didn't realize, I don't guess, that it had ballooned that much in 1 year,
Yeah,
just to be honest with you.
okay?
And Commissioner, too, just to kind of play off that, we'll have amounts in the budget, specifically ones that we have contracts with. And until, there has to be the budget, but there also has to be the contract. So even if a contract comes to you in the next year and y'all aren't happy with the way that contract is worded,
Yeah.
you don't sign it, the budget just doesn't get
Yeah,
spent. So there's
that's
that as well, if the contract is different than what you anticipate.
Right. There's answers to every one of those good questions that you got. And so,
Yeah.
rather than me try to go through all that, it'd be better if they
I agree.
had a formal presentation with the numbers, everything, the purpose, and what the future looks like.
So to summarize what we just went through, the ones that we made yellow, they totaled $495,000. I went ahead and pulled out Greater Waco Sports Commission because it seemed like 80,000 was consensus there. So that leaves right over $375,000. So of course, if you brought those numbers down 10%, it's 37,500, 20%, 75,000. So just to kind of give you, I don't know if you're just kind of leaving those as is right now, and then we may come back and do those later, but just in case you do.
I would like us to consider no less than 20%. I'm just gonna throw the number out there. 25, even.
I'm good with 25%.
I think I'd be good with a 20. That's a pretty good chunk for them to lose 1 year.
Well, they don't mind asking for it 1 year.
I'm not arguing the point, Commissioner. I do.
All four of us lost 1.4 million.
I'll go with what y'all want to.
I'd say 25%.
There you go.
Of those entities,
Census.
25% is $93,795.
So now, with the other stuff, we just saved almost $300,000. With the library cut, Greater Sports Waco, and then that,
So,
it's all 93,000 or?
give me 1 second, I want to give you, so we cut that, we had that 80, I'm sorry. We cut 40 out of Sports Commission. library. So just based on that conversation, sports commission, the 25%, and then the library. So that's $240,000, $240,796.
And we do have the numbers that McSiff, the funding, they send numbers all the time, so we'll forward them to you.
On which one?
On that,
McLennan County
County
Investment Fund.
Investment Fund.
What I'm basing this off of, and I hope y'all understand, we are beating our people down, telling them where to cut.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything to these outside entities. We're just, okay, we'll just keep giving you what you always got. I think we gotta, if we're gonna do that, if we're gonna really beat people, we gotta do it across the
I
board.
think that's a valid point.
Yep.
Valid point.
Almost 250,000 in cuts right there, so.
Sorry, y'all, trying to get my bearings on here. Okay. So we will layer that into what we're looking at as far as our ending number. So before we went to outside entities, there were two things that were brought up. One was not having a placeholder for incentive pay, but budgeting for it. So I mean, I feel if you feel strongly about funding that later in the year, we should budget for it.
Yeah.
But if you're not sure about that, then of course a placeholder is fantastic. But I just wanted to get, it was brought up, but I just wanted to make sure so that I can kind of build this final number to look at.
I'd recommend we put it in there. We can pull it out during that August time if
Okay.
we're so convinced. And we need to bring folks in to talk about it, or we can do it.
Y'all know my thoughts on it, so I'm gonna stay quiet. No comment.
Well, I understand. I mean, you really wouldn't want it in there at $1.
I wouldn't want it in there,
So,
period.
so
I understand.
that aside, we've
So I
got it
go
in
back
there.
to my, I'm sorry. I go back, I changed my statement about that and that has to do with that is an employment, that's a personnel expense. So let's pull it out, in my opinion. In better times, maybe we can bring it back.
Well, I believe we ought to leave it in there. We can argue that point in August. I think it's a huge impact to what we've been doing to keep and retain, quality motivated people. And, if further discussion in August, if we agree with what you're saying, then we can move it at that time.
And I'm gonna look at you guys. I'm not gonna be here in August. Next August.
Next August.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be here.
Yeah, but you got an opinion on,
You guys again have to defend it. And I've heard,
My problem is if we, that's not a problem, it's just my opinion. If we talk about opinions, we'll have more job openings if this incentive pay is not there for them, especially at the lower level. Because they can go to private sector and make a little bit more money. And I sure wouldn't want to create a job vacancies in my precinct or any other lower.
have you found incentives to be helpful in your group?
Very, very helpful.
Yeah.
That's my 3 new hires that we've had or replacements. that's one of the big things they told me. They came here and they heard of the incentive pay helps them. And it's a good recruitment tool as far as not a step program, not a sheriff's department, not a jailer, but to keeping folks. And I was kind of concerned at first, but now I've flipped over because of the evaluations.
Yeah.
That is tremendously a good help to pushing people to their next level to get up to where they can move up the list on the incentive pay.
I agree with leaving it in under the caveat that that's one of the first places you go if you have to do something.
Okay, leave it in, consensus.
And then the other item that I didn't get a full feeling from everyone was do we want to go back to buying the vehicles outright cash this year
So there again, I would put it in there, is
Okay.
paying for it.
in cash?
And then when we get into August, we can make the decision on whether to finance it or not.
Okay,
We were,
Because if we don't, then we lose that option.
That's why I was kind of saying
But that's gonna affect that's gonna affect how we look at what our tax rate's gonna be too.
Absolutely, it would.
That's what I'm
Right now,
trying to,
versus if it's not in there and just that financing amount's in there, then that's got to affect your decision on where you want your tax rate to
So
sit.
you weigh that against the carrying cost of financing. So put it in now, and then we can debate that.
But if you put it in now, and we have to set a preliminary tax rate that we
Right.
can't go higher, but we can go lower.
That's right.
And that's gonna be figured into that
Correct.
determination on what your tax rate's gonna be.
Yeah, but we can lower the tax rate by financing them if we choose to do that.
Yeah. You can take it out and still drop the tax rate.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna lose your option.
you're talking, what, $850,000 difference, about somewhere in that range?
Yes.
I think it's the
870.
overall cost of financing over the term is
Well-
1.6 million.
Right.
No,
No.
no, 160,000.
I think he was just talking about how it affects the budget like this year.
Right.
I got you.
Yeah, but if you take that 160 out, so then because you have to add that 160 back in.
Well, how is it that we went from thinking that we probably wouldn't, it'd be a net on the interest by us putting up, putting up a CD
Yeah.
at the, I mean, that's what we talked about, is that it would be a net, it'd be a net zero. And now we're not gonna do it at all?
Well, you still are gonna invest that money, because it's in a different entity. It's in the treasury, and you're still gonna get the same return for that money.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not paying you don't have to borrow the money, you pay for it out of cash. And so your real cost of it is the value of what that cash would
Make.
earn if it was in a CD rather than a car. But it's the cheapest way to do it. You can't get cheaper financing than paying for it yourself.
The vehicles are around 1.3 million, Francis, somewhere in that range.
Yes.
And then financing was $320,000 next year.
Took it a half cent on your tax rate.
So I think I'll have it in there, like all the cars, just buying them outright this next year. And then, like you said, if there's options, financing.
Yeah.
We can manipulate that. So just to recap today, so we had a consensus, of course, when we left yesterday and all the things that were included. But as of today, we added back in the budgeting for the incentive pay at a max amount of $500,000 plus taxes and benefits. Took out that financing option and just put the cars back in as cash. Those 5 positions that we talked about early today,
They're out.
pulling those out with all associated cost. We had just adjusted, we made many adjustments to the outside entities. And then we adjusted that amount to add a step to the sheriff's office plan because our number varied from yesterday. So all of those things rolled in. Let me confirm something very quickly before I do that. Okay, here we go. Okay. So here's kind of back to our scenario sheet. I thought this was a good way to just kind of digest it all in one glance. So that expenditure number there, 167,957,000, that includes all of those items that we've talked about today. Anything we have consensus on up to this point?
What was it yesterday when we walked, what was it when we walked in here today? 166, 963, 416?
Yes, I was gonna say it's
So
166.
we added another $1 million? What did you say, 167?
Yes.
So we added $1 million,
Well, we have now budgeted for incentive pay. We have now taken out that financing piece, so it's just those
every day we walk in here, we walk out, having spent more money. Notice that trend?
Well, those are things you would have, you know, it's just when do you budget for those? When do you pay for them? And
If you're gonna pay for them.
yes, yes. So here, again, where we left off, that has that 6 cents in it, in FY '27. So you'll see there in the orange bar, that brings your revenues versus expenditures, to a difference, still a little bit, more expenditures than revenues, but right under $3 million. Ending fund balance right over 52 million, and then that is 31%, as a percentage of expenditures. And then going forward, you know, just, again, assumptions, lots of assumptions embedded there, lots of unknowns, but that would get you to 34% FY '28. 38, 43. So then, like we said, once you get into those future years, if everything plays out how we think it should, that's when you can lower the tax rate. You could fund one-time expenses. You'd have some wiggle room for anything that is growing and needs growth in expenditures that is necessary. We'd be able to put money into permanent improvement fund and having money available without having to go out for debt issuances. So lots of options once you get to those levels where you have more flexibility.
So is this something that we're gonna come back after lunch and vote on?
I'd just soon do it right now.
I'd like to see some other numbers.
What are they? What numbers would you like to see?
Anywhere starting between, at half-cent increments from 3 all the way up to 6.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, we've reviewed all those, but
Well, my opinion on that is, we're gonna set it high. We can always come back and work that stuff down.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I just
But
like.
I don't necessarily think that a half-cent here and a half-cent there right now is gonna, here's my question, I guess, too, those of you remain on the court. Do you honestly think 33% fund balance is gonna be enough going forward? And I'm asking you that because you're fixing to have the state lock your assessed values down for 5 years. And so what they're gonna do is they're gonna drive everybody to carry more cash because what?
yeah, last one to go broke's a winner.
Yeah. And so, I mean, these are things, it's far beyond just this right here. It's what's going on down there and it's what's going on in DC.
Forward thinking.
And
But the other side of that, in my thinking, is are we gonna ask today's taxpayers to shoulder the burden of what's gonna happen 5 years from now?
It's cheaper to do it now than wait till 5 years.
Tell them it's cheaper when their tax is that much higher.
No, when their taxes go up 17%.
That's like building something now,
you're gonna, but you're gonna.
and you're gonna save money if you don't have to build another one 10 years from now. But these people here are gonna shoulder the cost of what's gonna happen 10 years from now on expansion wise. Do we build it now to handle these people, or do we build it to handle what's gonna happen in 10 years?
Tell me what you would do. Well, how would, as a taxpayer, how would you convince me that that's the right way to go? Knowing that you're fixing to have these
I think that's
ceilings put
reasonable.
on us.
And I understand
How
that,
would
and when
you-
we
how would
walk
you-
out of here, we're gonna be in unison. I have no problem with that. But I would debate that we need to look at the different scenarios so that all the burden doesn't fall on that guy right today.
Can I make a comment just
Yeah.
in regards, I know
Please.
I'm not an elected official, it's not my decision, but just my opinion, the thing that worries me the most, and it's not the fund balance percentage, I mean, you know, that's something that, you know, no one's holding us against it, could affect us. But it's that difference between revenues and expenditures. And if that 168 million in expenditures is what we feel is in the best interest of the taxpayers right now and our employees and the outside entities we contract with, those are recurring expenditures. None of that is going to fall off if we don't change anything next year. So we've got to get our recurring revenues able to cover those recurring expenditures.
And so fast forward to next year, what would you cut, right?
So that's what I'm saying.
We've cut the daylights out of it this year.
Yes,
Where do
and we
you-
can
where do
always
you cut
cut it
from?
if we feel
We
that
can
that's
always,
where
we
need
can
to be.
always raise the tax rate next year also too.
You're right, I think you'd be behind doing that.
I mean, yeah, and you're right, expenses,
You'd be,
expenses, when they outpace your revenue, that's not good.
no,
And the biggest expense we have is employee. And I've been there before where we've had to riff people, okay, to get where we need to be. And that's just part, and that happens in the business world. We gotta let somebody go. And that may be a decision we have to make in the future.
you will have to make it if you don't raise this tax
Well,
rate up.
but there you go.
adequately.
That's, so we put that, instead of doing the hard thing that way, we put it on the back of the taxpayer.
Well, that's ultimately how we fund government.
You're right. You're right.
And I don't know any other way to do it.
Well, you run a risk of, we talk about protecting the taxpayer, but that's not just the tax rate. It's how you invest your money, how you spend your money is just as big a part of it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm saying, I agree with what y'all were saying this morning about we gotta take care of the taxpayer, but it's not just the tax rate.
Well, yeah, it's a service you provide with the kind of roads you let them drive down, all those other things that we've made some decisions that it's gonna defer some of that to the next entity. And it just seems to me that all the things that we talked about getting together and figuring out this library thing and all that, we're not in a very good position to talk if we go into, what we do in a community in a very weak position. We need to be strong.
So what is your definition of a strong position?
A strong position is where you can continue to keep a adequate or better motivated staff, and that you are able to not only catch up deferred maintenance. I'm not saying keep up, I'm saying catch up with deferred maintenance. And have a strong enough financial condition that you can go out, because we will have to sell long-term bonds for long-term projects to be able to get that at an attractive rate. In other words, have a good credit rating.
But Commissioner, I am willing to look at all of those. I just know we gotta have a starting point that we need to come up with today. We have to have a starting point and then we work from there. That's all I'm getting at.
And I do think we've done a good job on the expense side. I'm just not sure that we've done enough.
Well, I think we can work on it more and maybe find a few pennies here and there. But really, what we need to look at now is the revenue side, and how do we, what can we control on the revenue side to get ourselves in the shape that we want to be going into next year. I know I won't be here next year, but I know what it's like to walk in and be the head of a court that's in a hell of a mess, like we were in 2012 and 2013. And it took us 2015 to make the big decision, move forward, took some big risk, did not get hardly any pushback from the community. And the reason why is because we communicated what the position was and why we had to make the moves we were. It's all about explaining. People come to the same conclusion that you come to. And that's all about communication and telling them why we made that decision.
What does a a 3 cent increase look like? And then what if you added another 3 cents to the 28 budget? I said just the, I'm sorry, I should have spoken sooner, just the 28 budget.
Oh, 3 cents in 28?
Yeah,
Yes, so no pennies in 27? Sorry, Commissioner.
we're working on the 27 budget right now.
Yeah, that's 3.
Yes, so you want 3 cents in 27 and 3 cents in 28?
Uh-huh,
Yes.
yeah. Perfect. And that's only a, about an 8% increase, so. 8.5. And then be less the next year.
Well,
Percentage-wise, what is the expense increase between this year and next year? and
4%, 3.9%.
So that's higher than the 3% that the governor's recommended?
I'm just not in favor of handcuffing ourselves right now.
yeah,
I'm not in favor of that. I still want to have all the options on the table.
I would make a motion that we increase the tax rate by 6 cents to 0.394805. And then,
Can I
Yeah.
I can fill this out for anybody that wants to propose.
yeah,
With the wording. Y'all just tell me who needs what.
But it can be changed into August.
Yes, sir.
If we need to.
No,
It can go down.
it can go down, it just can't go up.
That's what I'm saying, it
Yeah,
can be
that's what
changed.
you're talking about. Yeah, you're right.
I just want to get that in there before I go to Constable Strickland's, go to 9 cents or whatever he said.
You know, I think, and it has nothing to do with what we're doing right now. The thing that bothers me is that we've been pushed into this position that's beyond our control by the very people who are going to use what we're having to do against us come next session.
Sure. Nature of the beast.
Sorry, give me 1 second. I just want to make sure I have these
Right.
numbers correct.
But I hope our voters are intelligent enough to know that hopefully their school rates or taxes are going down, and all these other taxes could be going down too.
Yeah, I think they're intelligent enough. I think, though, that they might not think it
Communicate with
the
them.
way, yeah, we need to state our position and reasoning behind it, which very willing to do that.
I understand where Commissioner Jones' 17% is coming from, I understand that, but hopefully with these other ones going down, maybe it's down, lower, a lot lower percent overall out of somebody's pocket.
But we've done that for the other entities, numerous times. Over the last, we've gone down 19
Like,
cents over the last,
I can
10
calculate this
years.
for any.
Okay. All right, I propose a tax rate of 0.394805 for the 2026 tax year. This rate is comprised of 0.30099 for the interest in sinking and 0.364706 for maintenance and operations. Is there a second?
I'll second, again with the comment of we're still working.
Yeah,
This is not over. We're still working.
all right. Call for a vote. Oh, any other conversation? Yeah,
Comment would
yeah,
be,
please.
yes. If there's an understanding that we're going to look and try our best to bring it down as much as humanly possible and still be able to operate an efficient government.
100% agree.
Okay, any other comments before we call for a vote? All right, call for a vote.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson,
Yes.
Judge Bolton,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
No,
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Okay, pass. Last thing is just,
Where he's coming from, though.
Do you
Yeah.
mind, do you mind reading those other two bullet points on that piece of paper?
oh, I'm sorry.
The other section just needs to be read into
Yeah.
minutes.
All right, there'll be a public hearing for the 2026 tax rate. It's scheduled for Tuesday, August 18th, 2026 at 6 PM in McLennan County Commissioners Courtroom. And their public hearing on the proposed 27 budget is set for Thursday, August the 27th for 2026 at 9 AM in the McLennan County Commissioners Courtroom.
9 a.m.?
Yes, sir. And the budget and tax rate will be adopted on Thursday, August 27th, 2026 in the McLennan County Commissioners Courtroom. Okay, I think there's one other thing on here. We posted the numbers on the burn ban, and it hadn't changed much from last time.
My only question before we go is, when are we gonna schedule to be back in here working on this again?
What is,
What are we, well, we have to post it.
You're posted to come back tomorrow. if you
Tuesday's
want.
agenda.
But also, after that would be August 4th.
August
Tuesday.
4th? Tuesday,
Yeah.
be next Tuesday.
Because when I voted for that, that also meant that I don't wanna just go, okay, we'll get after it the week or next week, or.
Yeah.
We gotta go right back to
Suddenly
work.
goes away.
Right, we gotta go right back to work.
And so then we'll have another regular agenda on the 18th. But we can, if you all want to schedule more workshops in between those dates, we're ready to go if y'all are.
We'd have to post it, wouldn't we?
Yes, it has to be posted just as a normal meeting would be,
Yeah.
yes.
And then there's also the potential for the salary grievance.
Yes, we have the salary grievance that could be incorporated into the timeline and.
But we don't know whether we'll
that
have to
till
do
next
that
week.
or not yet. So,
Yes, ma'am.
so we decided not to do an evening.
The 6 p.m.
yeah.
Oh, we
August
didn't, I
18th.
guess I didn't hear that.
August 18th at 6
Wasn't on
p.m.
there. It wasn't.
One's at 6 and one's at 9 on different days.
The first one's at 6.
18th at 6 p.m.
6 PM, 18th, and then 27th,
27th is 9 a.m.
9 AM.
And if we need to adjust that time today, let me know, and then that way we'll make sure the publication that goes out to the paper is what y'all want it to be. So
Okay. All right, anything else to come before the court?
Did you want to make note, do no action on the burn ban?
It was on,
Pardon me? Yeah, no action.
We need to put it back on for Tuesday.
It'll stay on.
back on for Tuesday.
It'll be on from here on till it rains.
Perpetuity.
Yeah. Okay, anything else to come before the court? All right, we stand adjourned.